Hey there, and welcome to Someone Tells You. In today's video, we are diving into one of the most captivating and enduring mysteries of all time, the lost city of Atlantis. From its first mention in ancient Greek texts to the countless theories that have emerged over the centuries, Atlantis has sparked curiosity, speculation, and adventure. But what is the truth behind this legendary city? Was it a real place, a philosophical allegory, or something else entirely? Join us as we explore the fascinating story of Atlantis, its possible locations, the civilizations that may have inspired it, and why the legend continues to capture our imaginations today. So grab a seat and let someone tells you all about the city of Atlantis, its rise, its fall, and the mystery that still surrounds it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new dive into history's greatest mysteries. Plato's account. Timaeus and Critias. Plato's accounts of Atlantis are the main sources of information. In Timaeus, Plato introduces the story through the character Critias, who tells of the ancient history of the Athenians and their heroic battle against Atlantis. In Critias, he describes the physical characteristics and history of Atlantis in more detail. Location of Atlantis. Plato places Atlantis beyond the Pillars of Hercules, meaning the Strait of Gibraltar, which would put Atlantis in the Atlantic Ocean, west of Europe and North Africa. He says the island was larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined, roughly the size of the Mediterranean Sea. The island of Atlantis is described as having a series of concentric rings of land and water, with a central island in the middle surrounded by rings of water, which were connected by bridges. There was a grand canal that led to the capital city, known as the Royal City. The city featured impressive buildings and temples, including the Temple of Poseidon, dedicated to the god who is said to have created the island. The people, the Atlanteans, were said to be descended from Poseidon, an immortal woman named Cleito. They were an advanced civilization, skilled in engineering, technology, and architecture. They lived in a highly organized society, with an elite ruling class of kings and warriors. The Atlanteans were initially virtuous and noble, but over time, they grew corrupt, greedy, and warlike. The fall of Atlantis. According to Plato, the Atlanteans began to decline morally and politically. Their rulers became obsessed with power and wealth, leading them to desire to conquer other nations, including Athens. The Athenians, who are depicted as noble and virtuous in the story, successfully repelled the Atlantean invasion. In retaliation, Atlantis was punished by the gods. Plato describes a cataclysmic event, a massive earthquake and flood that caused the island to sink into the sea, disappearing in a single day and night. Theories and speculations. Since Plato's story, many theories and speculations have arisen about the possible historical basis of Atlantis, its location, and its destruction. Historical basis. The Minoans and Thera. One popular theory is that Plato's description of Atlantis might be inspired by the Minoan civilization, which flourished on the island of Crete during the Aegean Bronze Age. The Minoans were an advanced civilization, known for their art, architecture, and maritime prowess. In 1450 BCE, the eruption of the Thera volcano caused widespread destruction, including the collapse of the Minoan society. The eruption was so powerful that it likely triggered tsunamis and widespread destruction, which could have been interpreted as the sinking of an island. The search for Atlantis. Possible locations. Many places have been proposed as the location of Atlantis. Some of the most popular candidates include the Mediterranean. Some theorists suggest that Atlantis may have been located in the Mediterranean, possibly on the island of Santorini, or near the Azores, a group of islands in the Atlantic Ocean that Plato described as in the middle of the ocean. The Caribbean and the Bahamas. Another theory places Atlantis in the Caribbean, specifically around the Bahamas. Proponents point to submerged structures discovered in places like the Bimini Road. an underwater formation off the coast of the Bahamas, though most experts regard this as a natural formation rather than man-made. Antarctica. A more unconventional theory suggests that Atlantis could have been located in Antarctica. The theory posits that Atlantis existed at a time when the Earth's climate and geography were different, and the polar ice cap had not yet formed. Some proponents suggest that the ice sheet in Antarctica could have been a result of the cataclysm that destroyed Atlantis. The role of Plato's allegory. Many scholars believe that Plato's story of Atlantis was not meant to describe a real historical place, but rather served as an allegory or moral lesson. Some interpretations suggest that Plato used the tale of Atlantis to warn about the dangers of hubris, excessive pride, or arrogance, especially in the context of the rise and fall of civilizations. The fall of Atlantis, in this view, represents the inevitable consequences of moral decay, greed, and the abuse of power. Modern interpretations and popular culture. The idea of Atlantis has persisted throughout history and has been a powerful symbol in literature, art, and modern culture. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the concept of Atlantis was linked to theories of lost advanced civilizations. Some people believed that the Atlanteans possessed advanced knowledge and technology that was lost with their destruction, and that this knowledge could be rediscovered in the future. Atlantis has also become a popular subject in fiction, including novels, films, and TV shows. In these stories, Atlantis is often depicted as a utopian society with remarkable technology, sometimes influencing modern myths of ancient astronauts or advanced prehistorical cultures. Famous works involving Atlantis include Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, where Captain Nemo's submarine explores the ruins of Atlantis. Plato's Atlantis was featured in many works of fiction, like Edgar Allan Poe's short story, The Power of Words, and even modern adaptations like the Disney animated film Atlantis. The Lost Empire. Psychic and esoteric theories. Some proponents of psychic phenomena and esoteric spirituality claim that Atlantis was a real civilization that possessed advanced metaphysical knowledge. Theosophists such as Helena Blavatsky in the late 19th century suggested that Atlantis was home to a spiritually advanced race of people who possessed powers that modern humans cannot comprehend. In this view, Atlantis is seen not just as a physical place, but as a spiritual concept tied to the evolution of human consciousness. The story of Atlantis, as told by Plato, has captivated generations, and many have speculated about its truth. From a historical standpoint, there is no definitive evidence that Atlantis was a real physical location. Plato's account could very well have been a philosophical allegory, rather than a literal description of an ancient civilization. Some scholars suggest that Atlantis was a tool for Plato to convey lessons about the dangers of hubris, the moral decline of societies, and the consequences of unchecked power. On the other hand, the fascination with Atlantis has led to theories that attempt to locate it in various places, from the Mediterranean to the Caribbean to even Antarctica. Some theories draw from natural disasters, like the eruption of Thera, suggesting that the collapse of a civilization could have inspired the myth of Atlantis. Others argue that Atlantis may have been based on a now-lost advanced civilization, but without concrete evidence, these ideas remain speculative. Ultimately, the myth of Atlantis seems to function more as a symbol, representing both the heights of human achievement and the potential for destruction due to moral decay. Its enduring legacy speaks to our fascination with lost knowledge and the idea that advanced civilizations, even if only in myth, can be both wondrous and fragile. In short, whether Atlantis was a real place or an allegory, it remains an enduring and rich part of human cultural and intellectual history. So, what do you think? Is there more to the story than meets the eye? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.